Basically, our goal is to provide you with as much knowledge as we can, specifically with the Association Simplifier series on ways to help associations with particular topics that we see trending or that might be issues for associations that we can lend some assistance with. And we have a lot of really quality people that can give a lot of insight for your associations. So, like I said, my name is Justin Kraft. I'm the Director of Marketing with Baras Group. There'll be two of us speaking today. Joel Mankey will also be speaking. He's a predictive analytics expert with us. And a little background on myself. I've been presented nationally for Essential Executive and the Cloud Acceleration Summit. I have 15 years managing experience in operations and marketing strategies for a variety of organizations. 2 years board member for Colorado chapter of American Marketing Association. So I understand a little bit of the association space from the board perspective, and marketing co-chair for Symposium 2014, so I also have some event perspective when it comes to associations. Joel will also be speaking with us. He's a leader in creating predictive analytics solutions, statistical modeling, data warehousing, SQL Server Integration Services, which is SSIS, SQL Server Analysis Services, SSAS, and data modeling. Has a Bachelor of Science in Community and Regional Planning, Master's in Business Administration, and Master of Science Business Intelligence Finance. So Joel's far smarter than I am, but we'll get to that when we get to the parts. So I like to start these webinars with kind of painting a picture for everyone. And basically, when I talk about analytics, we all want analytics to be, or data, to be this perfect world. And then this picture kind of depicts a perfect place I'd like to be on vacation, maybe looking at a mountain or looking at the ocean and relaxing, and everything's perfect in your world and everything works well and works how it should, and life is grand, and your data reports are exactly what you're looking for and giving the insights you thought it would be, and you have all the resources to take these insights and do something with them. And everything is amazing. Well, unfortunately, there's a business problem that exists. Chances are your data gets jumbled up. There's multiple places where the data exists, whether it's your AMS system, your Google Analytics, outside analytic resources. You could have survey data that you need to use. There's just a lot of areas where data can get jumbled up, and it oftentimes looks like this picture, which I don't know about you guys, gives me a headache just thinking about it. I actually ran into a huge traffic jam on the way in today. So it frustrates you. It makes you kind of give up on certain things sometimes, but we're here to kind of give you some clarity on what can be done with data and how to make this a little bit more of an acceptable thing for you and help your organization use data in a viable way. So some key takeaways today. We're going to talk about what analytics is, why you need to use an analytics solution, so the uses of analytics, kinds of analysis to do, how to develop the solution, characteristics of a good solution, implications and uses of this solution, examples of an analytic data results that we've done, next steps to developing your predictive and analytic solution. And across the agenda today, again, kind of similar things: importance of analytics, association benefits of the analytic solution, the analytic process, analytic examples, solutions, insights, implications, specific ways that departments can benefit, and then we're going to talk about a deeper dive in next steps. So one of the things initially that I wanted to hit on is we did a similar discussion at Essential Executive in DC back in November, and we polled some of the people before the event on their satisfaction level with their analytics solution and some of the other solutions that we were talking about in that day. But on that far left column, you can look at a comparison here that basically 80% of the people that attended that event were either unhappy with their analytics solution or didn't have a solution that existed. And you compare that even with the cloud strategies and e-learning and mobile solution strategies to the right there, and you can see there's a huge gap, it seems like, in data versus other areas that need assistance. And then when it came to ranking what associations would like to see out of an analytics solution, membership retention and acquisition is the #1 thing, followed by event certification, e-learning, managing cost centers, and publications. And again, we know that these are membership organizations, and that drives 37% roughly of the revenue in most associations on average. And that retention and acquisition is why we wanted to hit on that topic, since we have done that type of analysis here. So moving forward, I want to talk about the importance of analytics. Now, correlation can equal causation, and I'll have an example of that. If there is a correlation between, say, walking across the street or walking up a flight of stairs and you trip on it and you fall, there's obviously a correlation between, well, it could be not picking up your feet and that's why you fall. It could be a bunch of various things that causes that. And going forward, when you walk up those stairs, say you fell at one time, the next time you do it, you're probably going to learn from that mistake using the data that your body processed, not trip the next time and lift your feet up higher or whatever the cause of that was before, do the opposite so it doesn't happen again. Doesn't mean you won't trip again, because now there could be another factor, maybe the wind's blowing today, and that's why you trip. So having said that, correlation doesn't always equal causation. So we're going to talk about in our examples today how that's relevant. And very specifically, there's so many different data points that you can look at and analyze. It's up to your organization to decide what those things are based on the organizational goals. So some key items that can be addressed by analytics. Now I'm going to let kind of Joel hit on this topic, but I think when you talk about analytics, you're talking about past, present, future, and what happened, what is happening now, and what will happen. And what kind of insights you can draw from that. So you want to explain this one a little bit, Joel?
Yeah, so basically if we're looking at these 6 different boxes, you can see it's broken down into information and insight. A lot of people's current solutions tend to fall more into the top category with the information reporting, some alerts when certain things happen, and maybe even some extrapolation on what could happen in the future when you're planning for your next fiscal year, that sort of thing. The real goal of analytics is to get down to the next level, one level deeper, where you can start to answer some questions as listed here. How and why did this happen? What's the best action to take? And what are some of the different scenarios? And as you can see, there's also some different kind of just general examples of what that could be, whether it be different kind of scenario analysis or putting your sales data through a recommendation engine to see where different product groups are selling together, what are complementary items, what are supplementary items, how are different segments of your organization responding differently to different things, whether it be marketing campaigns or the different benefits your organization offers.
Yeah, and then the key is to have, I think, is to have what you're looking for and wanting to extrapolate, and what your overall organizational goal is to drive what you're looking at within your analytics and the insight that derives from that. So the benefits of analytics to associations, that we primarily as associations operate within a few areas, and that's membership, cost centers, events, and then your products, I put kind of in the same bucket, products, publications, certifications, your e-learning. Now, within that, what are we trying to solve with associations? Membership, is retention, new members? Is it events? Data from events can be refined to attract sponsors or gain larger audience. Should you go to virtual events or not? So is there data you can extrapolate that tells you there's correlations between somebody going to virtual events versus an in-person event? Are there correlations between new members being obtained against when events happen? If so, do more events. Products, publications, certifications. Are certifications true drivers of value proposition to members? Same for publications. Within publications, can you analyze who's reading what article and do these trends show you anything? If you sell products, are you using analytics to learn buying behaviors and promote likely purchases accordingly? This can go as deep as you want it to go. So kind of analyze the benefit of what or analyze what you're looking for as an association within these areas, so you can get the benefit you need from your technology solution and your data analytics. So, do you have anything to add? So within the analytic process, there's a business understanding, a data understanding, data preparation, modeling, model evaluation, deployment, and all this connects to data along various points in the analytic process. We're going to kind of concentrate to start with on the business understanding, your data understanding, and data preparation.
Yeah, and kind of as Justin was alluding to, the first place you want to start is a deep business understanding of what's going on, so you can really narrow in down to what the key problem is, what are the key things we can measure, where are the areas for improvement, just a general sense of what's going on in the larger marketplace is fundamental to understanding the data in terms of the context within the larger organization and the larger market. The next part is actually getting down to the data. This is where you start to dive in and do some data profiling. You're going to be seeing what's there, what's not there. Are there ways we can handle missing data? Are there things that are just right there that we can use right away, that we can take this piece of data and start doing some of the things we alluded to earlier? Lastly, you got to take your data and actually make it worth something to you. A lot of times data inside the AMS is built to keep the operation running. This is your operational database. But typically that data is not in the best format for actually doing analytics. The essential structure of it is a little off. So it's actually taking the data and running it through some cleansing processes. It's called ETL, extract, transform, load, and just get it in a usable form where just a normal business user can start to use this information. It's where it doesn't have to be an IT professional. Get the data to the people that need it fast.
Okay, thanks, Joel. So to kind of look at that business understanding a little closer, what do I need to understand? My people, process, technology. What questions am I asking? What do I have? Where is it? What do I need? And within data preparation, what gaps do I have? How can I prepare for the analytic process? And the key thing is having a goal, understanding your people, process, and technology. So asking yourself these questions, you can probably come upon new questions that you want to get to, and these are going to help you get your data ready and get your business ready for understanding what you need within your data. I'm going to let Joel actually speak. We have an example here of a data gap issue that we encountered with one of our association clients that we were able to handle pretty well in a pretty effective manner, thanks to Joel, actually. And you want to go ahead and speak to this?
Yeah, so the essential business problem here was within their association management system, there was a lot of missing values for key demographic information. And once we got down into the data and started looking around, it was readily apparent. But the interesting thing is we were able to go to an outside data source and start to fill in those gaps.
Let's tell them a little more about what this is, since they probably can't really see it well.
Sure. So this is the number of CFPs at large versus small firms, and looking at the market share that they have within their system, and that's available in the outside data source to start to get a feel for market penetration.
So then what did we end up doing? So the data gap was that they had areas filled in, but not like, I think this is a common problem in associations where within each person or each member, there's only certain areas filled in, and not everything is up to snuff, basically. Like you have a first name and a last name, but you're missing a phone number, you're missing a place where they work, or you're missing different pieces of information. So kind of go off of that and how we...
Yeah, absolutely. So for this organization, the Certified Financial Planner is a major designation that they base a lot of their strategic decisions around. And with some of the missing phone numbers, emails, just a name record, we were able to match up certain key fields and fill in the remaining pieces of data that weren't quite there. So it was basically taking this outside data source and massaging it into the data that was available in their association management tool.
Yeah, so then when we talk about data preparation, this was a key component to that, but it also helped them initially see the market penetration and solve a business problem, and then be able to take this data and run it against itself to see, is there something with small organizations that they can go after so that maybe they have a lower market penetration within the smaller organizations versus the larger ones, et cetera. Okay, so analytics to predict behaviors, membership. So can you predict membership behavior, renewal behavior? So we're about to get into our case kind of off of that same case with the Financial Planners Association. Can you predict membership behavior, renewal behavior? Our experience leads to there are distinct patterns existing, points of member erosion are identifiable, exits can be predicted, and significant business implications are apparent. And that happened off of some of Joel's work as well that we did there, and we ran some data. But again, I want to stress there is a data cleanup phase and data preparation phase that we did do with this, such as some of the stuff we showed you in the previous slide. So that's kind of the key to anything when you first get into these analytic solutions. If you have data that is not data you can use or data that is relevant, it's not worth doing the modeling on. So you got to make sure that data preparation is correct and that you have all your stuff in a row when you go to doing some of this modeling type stuff. So I'm going to let Joel go off on some of this modeling stuff since he's the one that kind of did most of this. So.
Sure, and so this itself is called survival analysis, but the business problem itself was looking at one of those key areas we looked at earlier, retention. When do a large percentage of the members resign their membership or decide to move on? And this is just a quick visualization of kind of two graphs. The one on the left, think if you put all the members back to square one, day zero for their first membership, or first day of membership, and then this line shows how quickly, if you did that for all of the members, that group would slowly disintegrate and how many months they actually stuck around. The chart on the right is very interesting. So this would be take a piece of sand and drop it on the line the day the member leaves. So it ends up showing a density of when a member is highly probable to leave the organization. So pretty clearly within the first 48 months is a very high or a very volatile period where you really need to track how closely those members are engaging with your organization itself and what you're proactively doing to keep those members around. And this is just breaking the same group down by different groups, different membership categories. So you can see there's a pretty substantial difference between these different categories. Some of the business implications could be how do we get people to those higher level categories? Is there different incentives? How are those members receiving value different? So we can keep them around for extended period of time so they can get the most value out of the organization. Same situation here, but broken down by age group. This one's really interesting if we look at the hazard probability on the right. This is the same as the density graph, but these different age groups perform dramatically different. And you can see that just as quick as it takes to look at that graph. I mean, it's not, there's not a ton of data to pile through here once you get it cleaned and transformed into a nice, easy, usable format.
I think the key too with these slides to go back to with does the membership type affect tenure? Well, looking at this kind of to bring it back to the causation, and does the correlation really bring us to a cause? This might look like it might, but there probably needs to be other variables run against this to double check that. Is it in fact because they are retired that they're sticking around longer? So it could be that maybe there's another subset of variables within that are boosting that number to go up to that point. So it could be maybe the age along with the effect, the membership type. So there could be a lot of different variables in how you market to those variables within this stuff. And a similar graph, and then you can explain this one too. So you could run these against each other too, right, Joel? You can run higher education to create member profiles and that type of thing.
Yeah, it's a different type of modeling when you pull multiple variables together, but you can definitely see that there is a difference here. And as Justin is suggesting, there's probably some latent variables, those hidden variables lurking in the background, but at least at a beginning point, you can start to kind of suss out where those things are. It's not 100% causation, but there is a definite difference. And it goes kind of into the assumptions you build into the model. So we can make some assumptions about bachelor's degrees versus master's degrees and PhDs. And those assumptions end up affecting our analysis. So we just need to be aware of those and always be on the lookout for these latent variables.
Yeah, and to go back, I really like this one because you can see the difference in the retired membership type. Within that variable, you can now assume that there might be something going on here with the retirement type. So now it just brings more questions to bring to the table that you might want to look into this data set and bring out more data. And that's kind of the key. You're not always done with data. Data is always changing, and you need to analyze your data as you go, not just create something and leave it alone after you do it. So there's always questions that are going to then come up, and how do you attack that retirement sector could come out of that.
No, that's absolutely the case. A lot of people try and look at the trends, but sometimes it's more interesting to look at the outliers and see what's going on there.
So on this last slide, there's actually something kind of different that happened within an external force at FPA, if you want to explain the situation and then go from there on the post-crash.
Yeah, so all of your operations are operation. Everyone's operate within a larger external macro environments, and things change there as well. Specifically, they're interested in the financial service sector, and there was obviously a major event a couple, 5 years ago now, no more than that.
2009-ish, I think.
But so we were able to segment off the data into two sections, the pre-crash and the post-crash. And here again, from this just quick visualization, you can see those two groups do behave differently. This was just something that kind of through our research came up that we wanted to test. And surprisingly enough, there was something there. There's not always something there, but you can tell there's a definite difference. The most interesting piece is if you look down at the bottom, this is the average number of months that a person would stick around as a member before and after. And this is interesting for kind of one particular reason. After the crash, the average membership length is longer. So it hints at the fact that there might be a stronger organization now. So some of the people who weren't quite as successful in the financial service industries might have gotten, I don't want to say cleaned out, but there was definitely a transition. There was a period of volatility there where something happened and now the members stick around longer, which is great for their organization.
They found more value maybe in something that the organization was offering, and that's worth probably them taking a look at from going forward here. And it was a wide belief at this organization that people left due to the crash, and when we showed them this data, it was kind of opposite of what their belief is. So sometimes data can show you those surprises, and you can then make those analytic decisions off of those surprises. So we go into implications, some of the implications that could possibly happen from what we were just looking at in the data. There could be a focus on younger educated members, since the retired member seems to be stronger. From an association perspective, what are these groups missing? They must develop some sort of marketing program for risky members. So within the business, I call it the business strategy, not the marketing strategy, but near and dear to me, the marketing strategy, the product, price, the place, the promotion. Without getting into too much of what they've done over at this organization, there's definitely places where they can make these changes and do things based on the data, and this data now provides them a roadmap or a direction to making things happen. And do you want to add anything to that, Joel? Are you good there?
Yeah, no, and kind of the best part here is, since we have these defined business problems, we have measurements of how they're behaving at this current time. There's actions taken on the business half. We can then start to reassess how those changes in the organization are affecting the numbers, rather than being just kind of some gut feel. This is lean, data-driven marketing, and it's showing a lot in terms of how they can make adjustments to their strategy to perform better and deliver more value, which is the most important part of membership organizations.
And to kind of go back to a lot of organizations, and something that I even do here from our marketing standpoint is we do a lot of external data gathering and surveys and things like that. This data is already there at a lot of your organizations. It's already in your AMS. There's already a lot of data you can utilize, and this is real data that is tracking behavior, not just what they're telling you, not their opinion on something, but their behavior. And basing your decisions on behavior is oftentimes a lot more reputable than what somebody's telling you on a feeling or how they feel that day. Somebody could have had a bad cup of coffee and they're dissatisfied with their analytics solution based on that survey I gave at the beginning, right? Well, that might not actually be the behavior. So their behaviors will dictate what is the real, true, valuable data. I'm not saying survey data isn't important, because you can bring those into these models as well. But I think it's important for organizations and associations, and this is just a common problem we see in a lot of places, where they keep on gathering all this data from other sources and keep on getting more and more data, but they don't look at the data that's causing it, or the behavior data and the trend data from the past. And all of this is going to help you make your analytics solution that much better. So what's next? So I'm a avid runner, mountain biker, skier, everything, and I'm always looking for the next biggest thing, and the next goal to shoot for. And I think for organizations, the next thing you need to do as far as your analytics solution or your data is commit to it. It's a commitment, and you don't know what you're going to get initially when you start building these things, and it's going to lead to more questions, and it's going to lead you to more answers, and it's going to lead you to things you might have not realized you need to do as an organization. So it's as important as your AMS or accounting systems. If you don't have a way to analyze data and use it, And what do you have these systems really for? You need data. What do you have a mobile app for? If you're, I know it's lead collection or it's collection for new membership, but what else do you have it for? Do you have it to draw variables from? Build a platform, engage experts, whether it's us or whether it's somebody that you feel comfortable with. Engage an expert on data and data delivery that's going to walk you through this and help you. Understand your business objectives. This is probably the most important thing to developing a solution. You must understand what your goals are and the values of your organization. And are you providing the right things, the right events, the right material, the right e-learning solution? Is it what your organization wants to do? And is that really what the membership wants within your organization? So drive your membership, and that'll drive your membership and your member retention. Product or service direction. So again, the same type of thing. All understanding your business objectives. All of that is going to help you when you devise what you want to come up with an analytics solution, and your analytics are going to help you drive all of those things once you come up with the solution. So, do you have anything you want to add to that, Joel, beyond that? Okay. So I think that's all for today as far as the analytic and the data discussion. Do we have any questions out there? Does anyone have a data issue or data question that they want to ask, or I mean, we can obviously take these offline as well. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of questions. So we must have done an amazing job speaking today. So it's unusual it's unusual we don't have any questions. So there is a follow-up survey to this. I'm also going to type in, I don't know what happened to my last slide here, but I'm going to type in my email in the chat window if you guys would like to contact me with any questions and or concerns, or if you guys want to engage us as far as helping you walk through this process. It can be as easy as coming up with an assessment to help you kind of roadmap what you need to do with your data and things like that. So again, thank you everybody for being on this today. We do have another event coming up in a couple weeks. You'll probably get an invite for it, and it's going to be on a cloud. So we look forward to seeing you at that one and talking to everyone soon. We hope this was valuable to you. Thank you.